Now, like here. You use it up here, right?
Yep.
And you can, there's your web page. Just leave these alone. Leave this one right here. Like
There,
this.
push that back. I hate it when the seam shows. There, that's good.
And nobody sees it.
I don't care.
Camera's not gonna see it.
I see it. My OCD kicks in.
Hang on just a moment. Bring the background down.
Why is it doing that? Where are all the blogs at? Do you know?
Huh?
Where are the blogs at? I had to find them the other day.
I don't even know what you're looking for. Drag that cup back. Horn. Right next to it. Go left. More, right there.
I'm going to move the microphone there a little bit.
Keep the cup with it.
Why?
Because that's what I want.
I'm just curious why.
That's what I want. If I have to explain to you the golden ratio, it would take forever.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Get your headphones. Forgot them, didn't you?
There was headphones in here. I guess Tyler
Tyler's.
took them. Oh, cramp.
F12. Scott, I can't see you.
Can you start a countdown?
It wouldn't be advisable because I don't know when he's coming back.
That's true.
We're live, by the way. People can hear you talking.
Let's just go ahead and start it, and hopefully Scott comes in.
Here we go. Starting it.
Hey friends, Kent Martz here with Explore Scientific. And Paul, I'm hearing the sound about 5 seconds late.
No,
It sounded like
It's
the
just
thing went
messed
like
up.
through both ears or something.
Okay, is that what it was?
We've been having a little bit of issues today, and I'm working it out as on the fly.
Yeah, it was like I started talking, and all of a sudden the sound came through my earbuds, and that was disconcerting to say the least. Hey, Scott, how you doing?
I'm good, a little tuckered out from traveling back and forth to California. I was at the, we had a very special weekend with the George Ellery Hale family. They had a reunion that was celebrated at California Institute of Technology in Caltech, Pasadena. And then we went to Mount Wilson Observatory. There were great talks at both places. It started off with the president of Caltech was there talking to the extended family of the George Ellery Hale family. George Ellery Hale, I think, died 1938, something like that. I think he was only in his 50s. But during his lifetime, he built 4 of the world's largest telescopes, including the Yerkes 40-inch refractor, the Mount Wilson 60-inch telescope, the Mount Wilson 100-inch, where they discovered, these 2 telescopes, they made major discoveries about our galaxy and about the universe. At the 60-inch, they discovered, Harlow Shapley discovered that the sun, it was believed all the way from the time that, from Galileo's time till that time, that the sun was probably the center of the entire universe. And so Harlow Shapley, by measuring the distances to globular star clusters, was able to determine that was not the case and that we did not occupy a special place in the Milky Way itself. Then in about 1923, after the completion of the 100-inch telescope, they were able to photograph an individual variable star called a Cepheid variable in what was called the Andromeda Nebula at the time. They just thought it's kind of a circular, pinwheel of a gas in the Milky Way, and he determined that this nebula was indeed another island universe of stars, and so voila, other galaxies are discovered, and the universe expanded overnight by millions and millions of light years, containing what was then thought to be millions and millions of galaxies, which now is considered to be billions of galaxies, or maybe trillions of galaxies. So, the search goes on. What was so cool is on, at Mount Wilson, Dr. Wendy Friedman, who, by the way, is going to be one of the very first astronomers on the James Webb Space Telescope. She gave a lecture about the refinement of something called the Hubble constant. This is something that Edwin Hubble came up with as a measuring stick to measure the distances of galaxies. So there's been this continued research and work towards refining that number, and they use standard candles of different stars and their brightnesses to determine these distances. And So these standard candles, which also include supernovae and different types of luminosity that they can detect, redshifts, these kinds of things, help us to understand the size of the universe. And so it was just it was a real honor to broadcast these things. So we, Explore Alliance did broadcast them on several channels, including Mount Wilson's own Facebook social media channel. It's nice. But yeah, so and then on July 4th, I got to see some fireworks. That was cool. And we visited dealers, and we and then circled back here to Arkansas to face triple-digit temperatures. It was so hot. It was so hot yesterday. But anyhow, Kent and I have been talking a lot about the upcoming Star Party, the Arizona Dark Sky Star Party, and we encourage you to come. Kent, why don't you give some of the lowdown on the second Arizona Dark Sky Star Party? You were at the first one, is that right?
I was at the first one. It was in 2019. And Fabulous Dark Skies had never been to a star party in Arizona, have driven through a couple of times, but never been to a star party there. Went to Lowell Observatory for the rededication of the Clyde Tombaugh telescope there. And on the way back, we pulled in and some dark places and just pulled off the side road at a desolate exit. And Clint Brandon and I had some viewing there, but it wasn't like the wonders of the dark sky that we got at Kartchner Caverns, which is southeast of Tucson. And for a variety of reasons, we've moved it to Oracle State Park, which is northeast of Tucson, blocked by, is it Mountain Lemon? Is that correct?
It's blocked by Mount Lemon. Actually, the dark sky reading is very, very close between the two sites. And Kartchner, I think, is about a tenth darker on average. But, in this situation, other things affect just how, dark things look, and this has a lot to do with, transparency, humidity, dust, these kinds of things come into play as well. But I think we're in for a treat. We did, Mike Wiesner and I did an on-site inspection and used the SQL meter to get light readings that were, 21 plus. And it wasn't even dark yet. It was like, I think it was like 8:30 at night that we did these readings, maybe more towards 9 o'clock. So, it doesn't really start to get super dark until, maybe after 11 o'clock, something like that. So
when you were out there, obviously in September, it's going to get dark a lot earlier. So
that's right.
We haven't said the dates. September 1 through 25.
September 21, not September 1.
Oh,
September 21.
Yeah. September 21. Yes, we're having a 25-day star party.
Okay?
So,
no, it's going to be September 21st to the 25th. And so it's going to be really great. Now, something else that's happening in the community of Oracle is that the Friends of Oracle, which is Friends of Oracle State Park, is a supportive group of the state park area itself. But there's also the Oracle Visitor Center. And so they're getting musicians, artists, the Catalina Council of Boy Scouts will be there doing their activities. We can expect talks at Biosphere 2. We got Biosphere 2 coming up. We have people like that have been selected, like Adam Block and Fred Espenak and some other luminary type speakers I think you'll really enjoy. We will broadcast live some of these talks, not all of them. We hope to have some amateurs that are astrophotographers that will show live views through their telescopes while they're out there. So, It's been a long time since we've actually gone to Arizona for these star parties, and so we're hoping that you consider making the trip out there. I did mention I was in California, and I did see the high price of gasoline that was out there. But as you get out more towards Arizona, fuel becomes cheaper and cheaper. And so I think that if that's any consolation for you, that's something to think about. We are also working with Biosphere 2 as far as accommodations. So you can get rooms there. You can buy I think it's a 5-night package. It ends up being $120 a night. They have dormitory style rooms, but I never visited a dormitory that's this nice, so it is, they give you fresh linens and it's a nice setup. You will share.
There's no room service.
No room
There's
service.
No linen service.
There are B&Bs there that you can get, and if you like the Airbnb type of thing, those are available as well. So there's no shortage of rooms for the event, and we think I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
So if you want to book a room at the Biosphere, you have to go through us. They do not have a reservation system. They're not a hotel. So these are rooms that are generally set up for visiting scholars and college students and things like that. And so they don't have a mechanism. So you have to go through us to reserve those rooms. And Scott, do we have a page up for that? I don't.
Yes, we do. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But let's recognize some of the people that are watching right now. We have Tarek watching from the UAE. He says, hello, Beatrice. Harold Locke is watching. Beatrice says, hello, Kent, Scott, and Paul. Annie Scarborough from customer services watching right now. Mike, did you pull over and get a lawn chair out? Okay.
He said he was watching, but traveling.
Okay. Oh, he was like on the road or something? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Mike Wiesner's watching. Mike has been very instrumental in getting things, he's been our man on the ground there in Oracle. He lives in Oracle. He can attest to its dark skies. And he's made some really nice Milky Way shots from Oracle State Park. Norm Hughes is watching. And who else? Osmosis 007. He's probably a James Bond fan like I am. I love that.
Osmosis 007. He's been on a number of our broadcasts and asking some really great questions. He's a great addition to the family. Absolutely. Good to see him on. So I'm looking for the link.
For the link?
The Biosphere. Is it on the Arizona page?
Here, I'll find it for you. Hold on.
Because I've got my screen up. I can share. Here, I found it. No.
You found it? Okay. Yeah,
so
if
Paul,
you want to
share the screen for me?
What's that?
Paul, you want to share the screen? Okay, Paul can share my screen through the.
Okay, sounds good.
So, the picture, you think of college dormitories, you say dorm rooms, and we've all seen dorm rooms on college campuses and dormitories, but there's a picture down the walkway, and that is just attractive as can be right there. $512. If you're coming with a group and there's going to be like 6 of you, let us know and we will make sure that we block you all off together in the same dorm room, or we'll separate you if you're not that good of friends or you want to meet some new people as well. We can block you off so that you have rooms with people if you want to do that. And
the other thing I'll point out here, it's not a hotel. And unlike hotels usually have things like special taxes that add on to your cost. Sometimes parking, which adds on to your cost. Sometimes resort fees, these kinds of things. So they'll come up with you'll see advertise a lower price for a hotel room. and then you end up paying, if it's $100 or something, or $120, it quickly adds up to like $150, $160 before you're all said and done per night. And so, but this is not the case here. This is roughly, I think 120 a night, something along those lines. So,
right. And no hidden fees, no hidden taxes.
Right.
It's just
right.
$512 for the event.
Right. But
right.
You can't pick up the phone and get room service. No. Okay. So that's the deal.
And the towels you get on day one are the towels you use the whole week. Scott, did you take this picture, or was this
No. This is just a very nice photograph of the Arizona desert region, and
it looks like the sidewalk is wet. That's why I was going to ask.
You're talking about this picture here?
No, I'm talking about this picture up here on the screen right now. So
let me see.
It's not on anyone else's screen, Ken.
No, that shot of the Casita Rentals is from the Biosphere website.
Yeah. So the sidewalk looks wet. That's why I was asking. So they took it.
Yeah, it was probably right after a monsoon rain or something like that.
Right. So,
but you guys will remember that Biosphere was an experiment to see if people could live in an enclosed environment, making their own oxygen and their own food and all of that stuff, for a Mars colony. So,
and while, it had problems, they had to put in more moisture and air from oxygen from time to time, but it's not a failure, because science is not about failure. Science is about learning from failure. And the things they learned,
they need failure to know where so you push the limits until you get failure, and then you start to learn from that. If everything's going fine, you just don't know when it's going to go bad, right? So
and you definitely want to, long before you get to Mars, you want to figure out where failure point is. Most assuredly, if you've never been to dark skies, this is an opportunity to get there. It's going to be great weather. It's not monsoon season. The highs, be warm. It'll get cool in the evenings. Deserts are hot during the days and cold at night. So prepared for, to be in the 80s or 90s and maybe the 50s or 60s in the evenings. But we got 4 spectacular nights back in 2019. If we get 4 spectacular nights again, we'll be doubly lucky. But it is extremely dark. The first night the sun goes down, if you've never seen a dark sky, you're not going to be, and you're good at finding constellations. Yeah, you're going to be blown away because you can't find the constellations. There's so many stars that constellations are not apparent. And that was the most overwhelming thing I had, back in, in the 2000, 2001, when I went to the Nebraska Star Party for the first time. It was jaw-dropping, and you need to experience that. And we're going to be doing astrophotography. We're going to have people showing you how to do it, helping you do it. Bird watching. September is the fall migration, and there will be a host of birds migrating through that we will be. I believe we've got a bird watcher expert who's going to be leading some talks, and we'll have some binoculars there for people to borrow. I believe they check out binoculars from the visitor center as well. So it's going to be a good time. We're planning to
bring some optics for people to use, of course. And one special optic that we're going to bring, Kent, is the new Alpen thermal imaging optic. Okay, now this is really cool. This is something that just fits in your hand. Okay, you press down the button, and it's beyond seeing in the dark. Okay, anything that's warm is going to be picked up over the background area. So we're going to be setting these things up on tripods overlooking the watering hole that's out at Oracle State Park, and you're going to see some amazing animal life at night. So I think it'll be very cool.
Because the things you see at night are completely different than the things you see during the day generally. That's going to be cool as well. And Scott, I'm going to have the BT giant binoculars out there.
Nice.
I cannot wait to see what it looks like. So we have one pair here, we have more coming, but they're 120 millimeter diameter telescopes mounted side by side as a pair of binoculars with 2 eyepieces. Will blow you away. The sky is going to look, I can't wait. The moon looks amazing through it. I cannot wait to see what the dark sky in Arizona is going to look like through these. When you're using both eyes, the way your brain is engineered to see things in a true binocular fashion, it's going to be pretty cool, Scott.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Stargazer Man wants to know, he says, hey guys, where on the Bortle scale does the site sit? I would say it's between a 1 and a 2, okay, is where it's at. I have been to darker sites, but in order to get to those sites, you have to go way out there, way beyond any civilization, you know. So I have, I've been at Bortle 1 skies, where the nearest town was like 100 miles away, so that's, or 70 miles away. I would probably rate the Nebraska Star Party at Bortle 1. The drive to the next closest town, which is Valentine, is a little bit of a jaunt away. So
it's 40 miles away.
Yeah. So Big Bend National Park is Bortle 1, but again, you're very, very far away from civilization. We did not want to pick a site where it was only for the most extreme dark sky site or the most extreme away from civilization. This is close enough and dark enough where astronomers can be satisfied. Deep sky observers, I'm a deep sky observer. I love to do visual observations. You're going to be able to see some amazing stuff from there. Astrophotographers, absolutely, it's going to be no problem. And so you're going to see, you'll see the Gegenschein, you'll see the zodiacal light. The Milky Way looks like a storm cloud overhead. So it's going to be amazing for you.
So Scott, I've gone to lightpollutionmap.info. And it says it's Bortle 2.
Bortle 2. Now,
Bortle 2.
One of the things I learned about light pollution maps, is that they don't tell the entire story of how dark it is, and so this is, I think it was Mike Wiesner. He's very involved with the International Dark Sky Association. He said it's a little bit, it's a good read, but does not really tell you what you can or cannot see from a site. So
because it's about air cleanliness, it's about transparency, steadiness.
Like in Arkansas, we have Bortle 1 and Bortle 2 skies out here, but there's so much humidity in our skies that rarely can you see anywhere near what you could see from maybe a Bortle 2.5 sky from a very transparent, like a desert site, for example. So
So I'm going up to Nebraska right now just to see what Nebraska says. Nebraska's Bortle Class 1.
Yes.
An SQM meter of 22.
Right.
So it's just dead dark. It's so dark that when the Milky Way gets up overhead high, you can see your own shadow. Now,
and
it's a diffuse shadow.
You can see your shadow to a degree also at Oracle. So
I suspect you can. And it's weird. You turn around and you look at the ground for a while, and obviously your eyes have to be fully dark adjusted, hour and a half, 2 hours.
Sure.
And you turn around with the Milky Way behind you, and you start looking and you move, and you can see it move with you. It's a very diffuse. It's not easy to see. You're casting a diffuse shadow on the ground. It's like it's pretty cool to see. Yeah, pretty cool to see.
Right.
So.
Okay. But I think that's kind of our things I had to cover for today. This particular event's going to be amazing. We also have, I would be remiss in not mentioning the Mount Wilson 60-inch Star Party, which will happen in October. So if you're going to you're going to our website. You would just do explorescientific.com/events. I'll put that link up there, and you can see all the stuff that we're doing. We will also be going to the Nebraska Star Party this year. And we will be attending Starmus event and doing a Star Party out in Yerevan, Armenia at the Temple of Garni, okay, which is a first century pagan temple. So it looks like something, it looks like the Parthenon or something. It's really cool. And then what else are we doing?
Let's see.
What other Star Party?
Eclipses. Let's
right.
talk eclipses.
Of course.
We've got an eclipse blog up. Paul, you want to get that up? He says,
I can share it.
I've got it right here.
Takes me a minute to find this stuff because I
know where it is.
I wasn't expecting to be called upon.
Here, I can do it. Hold on. This is the 2024 eclipse. I'm actually working on a page for the 2023 eclipse as well. Let's see. Toggle screen sharing. And can I just share one page here? I don't know. Window. Here we go.
If you've never seen an eclipse, that too should be on your bucket list. Having seen plenty of, eclipses over the years, but, I think the closest I got was in the high 80s. But I'm telling you, Mike Scott says 99%'s not it. 99.5%'s got to be pretty cool. But I'm telling you, 100% totality, I guess totality is 100%, isn't it? Totality is an amazing experience that changes you in some way. It sounds weird to say this, but I know people that have seen the eclipse, and they all say it changed the way they look at the life.
Yeah, it's a cognitive shift is probably the best way to describe it, or one of the best ways to describe it. Because, something really does move inside of you. When I saw my first eclipse, total eclipse, I had this feeling in the pit of my stomach that something was wrong, okay? Like almost fear-based, type of feeling. So it was very, very interesting, and you can totally understand once you experience it. And you can see a zillion beautiful photos of it. You can watch videos of it. You can hear people screaming ooh and ah and all the rest of it. That is nothing compared to what it's really like.
Scott, when we were Clint Brandon and I went up to Casper, Wyoming, and we were up on the backside of Mount Casper in the Badlands, and the valley was sort of oriented to the northwest, and there were people down this road off to the west of us, and we're watching it. It's nearly eclipsed, and it's just right there. And then the people, half a mile down, you hear them start yelling, and then as they're in the eclipse, half a mile away, and you're not eclipsed yet, and then people closer yell, and the people close, then the people right over there 50 feet away yell, and it's not eclipsed yet for you, and then you yell, and then the people on east of you yell, and literally I called it the yell that went all the way across the country, because I think that was one thing that everybody just shouted out in awe, in celebration, in amazement. It's really hard to describe that feeling, and
hey, Scott,
it followed along. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Your camera's doing something funky.
Yeah, it didn't like it after I shared it, so I'm just going to be the guy talking right now. So.
Okay.
He'll be the.
It didn't like for me to share, so that's why we're having you share. So.
Yeah,
that's right.
I just need the links to know where I need to go.
Yeah. I thought I could
Okay.
share.
So,
And I did.
So, anyway,
I did share for a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Anywho,
Hit reload, Scott, and it may fix it.
Let's see.
Or you can kick it.
I'm back.
So we have two eclipses coming up. One in October of 2023.
There
That's
you
going to be
go.
an annular eclipse. And the annular eclipse is when the moon is too close to the Earth
Yeah.
to fully cover the sun. And so depending on where you are, if you're very close to the center path, like we're going to be at the October version of the Crossroads of the Eclipses Star Party, we're less than a half a mile. We're literally yards away from the center line of the annular eclipse that comes down out of Northern California and Oregon and crosses, South Texas and goes into the Gulf. We're within yards of the center line. And because of that, the moon is going to be dead centered on the sun, and it's just going to be a perfect ring of sun all the way around. It's like a sun with a big donut hole in it. Now, you have to use eclipse glasses the whole time on an annular eclipse because you're getting sunlight, real sunlight. 99% sunlight is still bad for your eyes, so you can't do it. And then we're like 2 miles away from the center line on the April 2024 eclipse, and it's going to be spectacular. Then we're getting 4 minutes and 26 seconds of totality where we are.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's going to be tremendous to see. Osmosis 007, it's the best part of being a regional truck driver. All the small towns in the tri-state area, Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa, getting paid to scout camping locations. Absolutely. You figure if you can figure out how to get paid, do it. Now, we're gonna be having eclipse glasses here for sale pretty soon. It's going to be a fun thing. Get your eclipse glasses when you can. Don't wait till the last minute.
Yeah, in fact, our first batch of eclipse glasses comes in this week. So,
right.
Yeah, you definitely want to get ready for it. You don't want to wait. You do not want to wait for the rush that happens, a few weeks, because you might think, it's reasonable to expect that 6 or 8 weeks before the eclipse, I can get my eclipse glasses and then everything's going to be. That answer is no. That's a bad idea, okay? Because everybody thinks that, so the crunch to get eclipse glasses happens it happens weeks before. There's no reason for you not to get your eclipse glasses now. You can use them to look at the sun, to try to find big sunspots if you want, that kind of thing. But the other thing you should get is, eclipse filters or just solar filters, white light solar filters for your camera, for your telescope, because you'll probably want to try to photograph the eclipse, right? And so you need to know how to use those filters and to track the sun. So
muscle memory. Muscle memory,
exactly.
I tried to do it.
That happen during an eclipse where something goes wrong. I've seen everything from people not recording things to not taking off lens caps to not turning on tracking, just a zillion things, so because when it's happening, you will be so captivated by the eclipse, even if you're a seasoned eclipse goer. Okay, in fact, seasoned eclipse goers have it down to muscle memory. They practice, so when I've been to 3 eclipse expeditions so far where we broadcasted the eclipse. The first time was actually done on 35 millimeter film on Mauna Kea in Hawaii for the science show called NOVA. So I was part of that NOVA film crew. The second and third time was with the Exploratorium, where they're broadcasting via satellite and doing the uplink for NASA and a number of other streams. You get started 3-4 days in advance on site, polar aligning, tracking, going through the motions of it until the actual eclipse comes. So,
and Scott, the one that was done in South America, we shipped duplicate or triplicates of many things down there, it wasn't a case of just ship one of what you're going to use. We shipped at least two. In some parts, we shipped three things down there.
That's right. Yeah,
to
and
make sure
you
that-
have no time. If something breaks, you drop something, you trip over a cord and rip something out, you have no time to get another one sent in, and so you just need to have it. So you need to, if you're going on an expedition, a real expedition, and an Eclipse would definitely qualify, you need to have backup, and so that's just the way it is.
And we're going to be down in South Texas, and it is an expedition. This is not glamping. This is going to a place where we're on a private farm. There's one entrance. We're going to have people there checking passes. The only people are getting in are going to be registered guests. So you're going to be able to, if you want to, and not camp there, but have a site there, you could set your gear up, leave it. We're going to have security. And if you're comfortable doing that, and then go to a hotel back in Austin or San Antonio or Kerrville or somewhere like that,
Austin
and
would
then
be
come out for the Eclipse.
Right.
It's going to be, Austin's a hard 2-hour drive. Kerrville's a 2-hour drive or an hour and a half drive. We recommend coming to camp. And
I totally want to go glamping though.
Well, you can do that. I think,
you
can
can,
pull
and
a
maybe
trailer there.
so we'll see.
You can pull a trailer there. You tent camp with no problem. You're going to have to come prepared with electricity. We hope to have some ways to offer your ability to recharge, but you need to plan on this being an expedition to a solar eclipse and attack it just like you would an expedition to Mount Everest or however you want to look at it.
But we will have food on site. There'll be, you can get hot food there prepared on site. Mickey's Kitchen is going to be there. Mickey is famous for being at the Winter Star Party and supplying people with food all day and all night long. So these star parties are not just for the eclipse. They will be dark of the weekend, dark of the week star parties, because they'll be during new moon, of course, and so it's going to be great.
And I think, Scott, that's a critical. This is not just an eclipse event that day. This is a star party leading up to the eclipse.
Yes.
And then after the eclipse is over, we know from experience from what happened in 2017, the roads are going to become
don't make this tight on
night,
the side of the eclipse.
Yep.
No. Yeah, you're going to want to allow a day or two after the eclipse to leave, so.
So Stargazer Man, hoping to make a trip to the States in 2024. My fourth TSC. What's TSC? Total Solar Eclipse. And this private area for the event sounds perfect. Stargazer Man, absolutely. It's going to be, it's not, it's out where it's dark. It's for astronomy people. Come to a star party. We're going to have speakers. We're going to have talks about the history of the Texas Hill Country. We're going to have, it's going to be more than just a star party at night and then solar eclipse and then go home. We're working to make this an event that fills your time and is educational as well, workshops and things like that. So
it'll be fun, and you're going to make some friends out there. So that's going to be
you'll make
cool.
lifelong friends out there at this thing, because especially if you're there for 3 or 4 days,
right?
You're going to make friends that you're going to, Norm Hughes is going to be in Hunt, Texas. Norm, there's no reason why, unless you've got a place you're already going to go, you're welcome to come, spend the week with us. Would love to have you, to meet some people that we see all the time and often every day.
Right.
And I look forward to meeting so many people over the course of these events. To me, that's sort of the special part of this, is meeting people who are friends that we've never met, but yet we talk to them every day or whatever. So, Tyler or Paul has a picture of you doing the Suncatcher solar filters, a
Oh,
very
yeah.
inexpensive way. It'll fit. We can make one to fit any telescope. If there's not one or not one that you're sure what your telescope is, all we need to know is the diameter of the objective lens, and we can make a filter for you. They're cardboard with a solar safe film, and they've got some hard black foam triangles that you cut to fit your telescope. I always caution people, make sure it's a tight fit. You don't want that thing to just slip on and slip off.
No,
because
exactly.
because you'll put your eye out if you're not careful, or you'll
Yeah.
burn your camera sensor. So you want that thing to go on there and have to really force it on there to get it on there, because you don't want a hard wind or a good wind or somebody walking by to brush it and knock it off. You want that thing to stay on there, no matter
You'll notice
what.
it's over the front of the telescope. In that video that Paul has up, I demonstrate that the danger of trying to look through your telescope just by wearing eclipse glasses.
I cannot
we
pull
had
the
to-
sound up for that video
can't pull the
the way
sound
I
up.
have it.
So I was talking about is don't put your eclipse glasses on
Yeah.
and then look in your telescope with no filter.
That's-
So you've got a telescope, no filter on the front.
You'll
Like
burn
you'd look
through
at, say, the moon.
filter like a laser beam. Okay.
No, Scott, it is a laser. I mean, it effectively is a very solar-powered laser. It will instantly burn through that film, and I mean, you won't have any warning. You'll hit it, and it just vaporizes that film.
Right.
You
So
can't
be aware of
do
what you're
that.
doing. One of the other things I've seen happen is people use correctly an over the lens solar filter, and they lean down to look in the eyepiece, and they have forgotten to cover or remove the finder scope, which is, by the way, also aligned with the main telescope, and still light
And
coming
burn
in,
their
and then they
foreheads.
see smoke coming from their hair because their hair's catching on fire. You know.
Yep. So you need to either take your finder scope off or cover it, because there's, and I use the shadow to line it up. I mean, we're going to use our PMC8
Me
systems
too.
to get things lined up and have it lined up the day. And that's the other great part about coming is you can get a perfect polar alignment the night before. Buddy has an observatory, but I plan on coming to the Star Party. Norm, we will love to have you.
That'd be fun
Certainly
to have you.
want to shake your hand and thank you for being a part of our family. But you get there a couple of days early, you can get a dadgum absolute perfect 100% polar alignment, which is going to make your photography and your viewing easier the next day, because everything is just going to work right. Except there's always going to be something that happens. Somebody's going to trip over it the night before, or you bump it, or something happens, right? But you're there. You're going to be in a dark spot. You're going to have
watching your gear closely, and
right.
You're going to be out there with other amateur astronomers, and they're going to be mindful of what you're doing. It's not like a free for all, party type of deal. This is for people that want to have a great astronomy experience and a great eclipse experience too.
Yeah. Osmosis 007 says it's a Doc Evil laser on sharks kind of situation. Yeah, something like that. You'll put your eye out. It's a Red Ryder BB gun.
Yeah.
You will put your eye out. Absolutely. Yeah. Ralphie would learn the hard way. And when I'm viewing, I always I always put my hand over just to make sure, because
if you feel heat hitting your hand,
I burn my hand far before I burn my forehead or eyeball. Most assuredly. So it's going to be a great time. South Texas, the farther south you go, the better chance you have of having clear skies. Now, which is not to say that somebody up in Maine may be the only place in the United States that sees it, because the rest of the United States could be cloudy that day.
Could be.
But, percentage chance is the farther south you get, better chance you have of having clear skies. And that's why we picked a location down there and just stumbled upon, basically a friend of ours who grew up on this ranch. And it's like, yeah, you can use it. Not a problem. And we're going to be in their bull pasture, by the way. So this is where they keep all their big bulls, and the
Yeah,
bulls
but
are
they're not
supposed to
going to
be
be
very
there while we're
Oh,
there.
come on, Scott, you ruined my joke. The bulls are supposed to be very friendly. They'll eat out of your
Yeah,
hands, not knock over telescopes or anything
Or
else.
you misread that, Kent. It's they'll eat your hands.
Well, except they're going to move the bulls out of the pasture before so that we can use the pasture. Now, you have to be prepared. This is Texas Hill Country. There's cactus. There's,
Yeah, but it's no more
reptilian
dangerous
life.
than when we went observing all the time. Every dark of the moon, we'd be out at Anza Borrego State Park in
Exactly.
California. There's cholla cactus. There's, you just learn how to be, just don't be silly out there. Don't roll in
Scott,
Does that mean I can't go?
Well, you can, just as long as you sit down and mind your P's and Q's and don't do
Scott, I was
anything.
wearing. One of my kids was wearing sandals the first time I went to the Nebraska Star Party,
Oh,
and
not a good idea.
in about 30 minutes, I heard yells and screams and cries of agony. And they came back. Two of my kids came back, and they had discovered the beauty of sandburrs. And imagine a little cocklebur, a little bitty thing with 500 needle sharp points on it.
Nice.
And I went to pull them off of my fingers and thought, no, not doing that. That
they
hurt.
stick in your fingers too.
Yeah. So I ended up using a pair of pliers, just because I didn't want to pull them out. And so there probably will be some bull pie in the fields by that time.
They dry out though. You can throw them like
dry
a
out.
frisbee.
Sure,
Yeah.
we
used to throw.
Scott.
I used to have a cow pie throwing contest.
Yeah.
Scott, absolutely, we could do that. We could have a cow pie throwing contest to see who can throw, and we can give away an eyepiece or something.
Sure.
That'll be a hoot. That'll
Sure.
be fun.
Yeah, where else do you
Norm,
throw cow pies?
Norm, do we have the page up for it, Scott?
When will you advertise the events and address and costs, et cetera? Okay. So right now, the best link to use will be www.explorescientific.com/eclipse. Okay. We expect to have the pricing and sign up sheets and everything ready by the end of this week. So it'll be by the end of this week or the beginning of next week. But we know people are trying to make a decision on where to go, what to do, and all the rest of it. The good news is that we already have everything approved. Okay. So, and we have food lined up. We have to make some little bit of final decisions on what kind of porta potties we're going to get, but we're going to have porta potties. So you're going to have security, place to go to the bathroom, place to eat, all that stuff will be right there on the site. You're going to be in one of the best places in the whole world to go see both of these eclipses. So, in fact, the only place in the whole world to see both of these eclipses.
Yeah, there's a very limited area where you can be in the same spot and see both these eclipses. And Scott, we actually have a helicopter landing pad already there. It's got a windsock on it.
Yeah.
So if something happens, you can get taken into San Antonio.
Oh, yeah. You have to
world-class
prepare for
medical.
the worst, and
Right.
so
And hope for the best.
And hope for the best. So, so we did. I did put together a page which I think you and Tyler both looked at, and it's called "Preparing for a Star Party." So let me just give you that link one more time. I put it down there earlier.
If you're traveling for this, you need to make a checklist of everything you have,
Yeah.
and check it when you prepare it and put it in one spot. And then when you load it into your bags, you need to check it again. And then before you leave the house, you need to check it again, because you leave your medicine at home that you have to survive. You're going to have to stop at a pharmacy and pay through the nose for it at full price.
Yeah, it's gonna be,
you don't want that.
You just want to be prepared. So, in this article, we talk about safety first. Bringing a friend, is a big deal. Bringing a friend is good for your drive, because we are going out into a remote area. This is hill country of Texas, So your drive is going to probably be long. And so it's always safer if you have somebody with you. And, it's like having a dive buddy. You don't go diving by yourself, okay? Even if you're experienced. You dive with a friend in case anything that you need assistance with, So that does add an incredible layer of safety. You want to make sure your vehicle is in good condition and ready to drive, okay? Just, things that maybe you don't even normally think about, but you want to double check your vehicle registration, double check your car insurance, check air pressure, tread on your tires, that your spare tires in good shape. You want to check brakes, fluid levels, hoses, lights, all of that stuff. If you don't already have roadside assistance, sign up for it. There's some good roadside assistance programs with your insurance providers. You're going to want to carry emergency gear, so you need to be able to fix a flat, jumper cables to help yourself or help somebody else out. A strong backup battery for boosting your battery in case your battery goes dead. I've seen that happen at star parties. Carrying extra fuel. So in this blog, there are actually Amazon links that we included where you can go and buy these things. I'm also big on first aid. So if you don't have some sort of first aid kit in your car, you need one, so not only for this, but for everything else. There's something called the Garmin InReach. These are really cool. And what they are is if you get out of range of cellular phone data, okay, these things work off of satellite and they work anywhere in the world. And you can send text messages with them. I think some of them even let you read and receive and send email. When you go to these events, you're going to want to plan to stay overnight. So you need to have, we give you scenarios with, whether you're tent camping, sleeping in your car, these kinds of things. A tent that I found that I thought was pretty good is from North Face, and it's the Wilduna series. So I think that you might like those. You're not going to have an open fire at these star parties, so that's out. And you don't want to leave food or drink out unattended. That attracts insects, animals, and
I think the biggest threat out there may be the wild boar pigs.
Possibly. I'm not sure about the country as far as that goes.
Catherine said there have been a few, but it's not. They don't have a terrible problem like lots of places.
It's not like Arkansas.
Yeah. There are places
we have
in
the Razorback here, so that's true.
There are some places in Arkansas with a bad feral hog population, and Texas and Oklahoma have their share too. Yep. But deserts and hogs are, it's not a desert, but it's pretty harsh living out there, and I don't know if there's enough for a hog to live out there. I guess so, because there's javelinas in Arizona. So, yeah.
Norm says it won't be a problem with the noise and ruckus of people. Hogs will avoid it. In fact, almost all wildlife will avoid it, because you get hundreds of people out in an area, they're just going to stay away. But that doesn't keep the insects away, so you want to think about that. Bees, water, and anything that they can drink or eat, that's something that, you might get something like that. Osmosis 007 says, years of backpack camping has taught me no matter how many socks you think you need, pack more. There's such thing as too many socks. That's right. Even if you have to dump the sleeping bag. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. What else do I say? Prepare your astronomy gear. This is a mistake a lot of people do. They just, at the last minute, get all their telescope gear out of their garage or out of storage or whatever, and they just throw it in the car and they take off, okay?
And they haven't used it. And Scott, they haven't used it in a year and a half.
Well,
And
in some cases, or at the least, if you go out every dark of the moon, you haven't used it for a few weeks, you know. So this is still something where you can run into big problems, like you forgot the knob or you have a broken cable that you didn't know about. You know, so you want to set up your whole rig. So if you've got cameras and you've got go-to systems and backup batteries and solar chargers and all the rest of these things you might have, you need to do a full-blown setup and power it up and run it, okay? And then once you have that, then you start to tear it down, and that stuff is ready, set to go, in line, ready to go into your car, okay?
you check
because you don't
every
want to do
screw.
that. Right.
You check
And
every screw,
very
every
important.
bolt.
Yeah, you need to consider having backup equipment. Okay, if you're just one layer, you just have one telescope, one mount, one battery, one cable, you know, and there's a failure of any kind, you know, it can really damage what you thought your eclipse experience is going to be like.
Scott, you've got a solar filter, right? You get there,
Yeah.
and there's a big pinhole right in the middle of it, you know,
Right.
or it's gotten ripped or bad
Or
fold
you got
or
crushed,
something.
or you know, all
Yeah.
these things can happen. So,
Right.
um,
But I'll stress, you know, osmosis. Wet feet from water or sweat will destroy your feet. Nothing worse than not being able to hike where you want to go. That's true, osmosis. An army travels on its feet and its stomach. And if you don't have dry socks and a full belly, it's hard to go backpacking. I've, you know, learned that lesson many times. Water is
Right.
somewhat important too. One time we were backpacking out in the Ozarks, and duct tape, yes. We were backpacking out in the Ozarks, Scott, and a really good friend of mine, and we were down at Devil's Den, the Butterfield Trail,
yeah.
and we didn't want, and we call it Hell's Half Mile. It's straight uphill for half a mile, and I think it's about a 500-foot elevation gain, and it's
Uh-huh.
not a fun hike in the morning, you know, from what's called Junction Camp. And so we were like, it was August, but we had been backpacking up there before in August. We thought, well, we're just not going to carry our water. We'll just go with empty canteens and get up there on time.
Oh, that's a bad idea.
Yeah. 8 miles later, so we finally,
Bad idea.
it was
You want water.
bad idea.
No,
Bad
you're not
idea.
hiking. You're going to drive your vehicle in. Okay. There's
Right.
not gonna, this, but there are hiking trails out there. And so if you are going to hike, of course, you're going to want to do all the hiking prep that you can. Okay. And you want to be safe out there.
But
we
water is
have-
a commodity.
That's right. I have a section under comfort. And I basically say being comfortable during your observing session is important. Not only will you see more details of things, but you're going to experience greater health benefits. A lot, you know, it's exciting to go see an eclipse, and it's an exciting moment for any amateur astronomer to see the Milky Way like a storm cloud. But there are actual health benefits of doing so. Your blood pressure is going to come down. People that experience and connect with nature have less health problems. Okay, these are some of the huge benefits of being involved in amateur astronomy, is being able to reframe your whole life, you know, experience this cognitive shift and put your problems in perspective, okay, instead of magnifying them as we often do. But I have things in here, you know, natural insect repellents, zero gravity chairs. Ken, have you ever sat in a zero
I never
gravity?
have. Nope, I never
Oh.
have.
They're great. I've used them for stargazing before, you know, where you have binoculars and you're just laid back and it's just supporting your whole back and everything. It's awesome. Some zero gravity chairs can even spin, you know, so you can turn yourself around like I'm spinning around on my my desk, you know, my office chair, but you're spinning around seeing different parts of the sky. Zero gravity chairs range in price from about $50 to a little over $100. Little portable tables are nice to have, and I I learned some stuff from people that go to Burning Man. I've never actually been myself. I would like to go sometime, but I've never been. And they do things there to keep themselves cool when it's super hot. And for, these same things work often if it's really cold, and so there's something called Illuminet, and it's an insulating covering that's, I think, was originally developed for gardeners. And but they will either insulate you, keeping you warmer during cold weather, and they will keep you cooler, like 10 degrees cooler if it's summertime. So this is something that's great. We touch on leaving no trace. You want to leave your site better than what you found it. I think these were added by you and Kent. There's something about general camping accessories, warm outdoor clothing, camping and hiking, water filters, Allen wrench sets, need tools, in case something breaks. Gaffer's tape, also very handy for fixing things up, batteries, that kind of thing. I think I put in even a link on how to set up a do-it-yourself portable misting system so that you can cool yourself off if it gets really warm.
Pump up bug spray and yeah. All right, so it's going to be a good time. I look forward to it. It's going to be a lot of work. I mean, we're going to be the sad part about it is, Scott, we're going to be down there working. This is not going to be like a simple vacation where we go have fun. We're going to be down there running this show and keeping all the balls in the air, and it's going to take a pretty good crew to do it. Especially, the annular I don't think is going to draw nearly the crowd, but we can hold a pretty good number of people at this site, which is actually on an old runway. It's an old grass strip runway, so it's got, you can drive all the way down it. We're gonna, no car movement at night except for emergencies, all that sort of stuff. But I'm looking forward to seeing another eclipse. Once you get a taste of it, it's addictive.
And it's fun. Sure. It's fun to watch other people watching an eclipse too, because they're being blown away by it. And so that will be our satisfaction, Kent, is to see hundreds of people witnessing this thing. So, and we'll see it too, of course, but.
Yeah. Okay, Stargazer Man, 2 things I've learned the hard way. Keep your setup as simple as possible. What can go wrong will go wrong.
Yes.
And have an observing plan. Time seems to just evaporate under dark skies and good company. That's absolutely true. You need to plan out for the eclipses what you're going to do at exactly what times. And I can tell you this. I took a camera and a solar safe filter from Explore Scientific, and I had shot a little bit and knew the exposures. But I was so worried about getting the pictures that I wanted that I really didn't just sit and enjoy the eclipse. It was like 2 minutes and 10 seconds. It wasn't a long time.
Yeah.
This time I want to have a lot of automation and then just sit there and enjoy it and just look up at the awe that it creates. I don't want to get caught up in having to do technical stuff. I want to enjoy it.
The moment is magic. It's absolute magic. And if you just let yourself absorb it, I don't know, maybe set up half the time for taking images and then have an alarm go off where you just go, okay, I'm done with the camera side of it, and I'm just going to watch this thing, so.
I think that's a good idea to plan out what you're going to do. I'm going to take pictures, and then I'm going to stop for a minute and a half and just look at it, and then start taking pictures again.
Right. There's some people who are so in love with doing the photography side of it, though. They want to get that, that ingress and egress of the eclipse, and they want to do these montages, and they're great. Okay. There's and nothing to take away from that. But, I do know of people that have photographed lots of eclipses And for some of the eclipses, they decide not to do any photography, just to watch it.
Mhm.
You know, so because that's how you really do enjoy it. So.
Yes, for sure. All right, it's after 5,
Okay.
Scott.
Oh, it's after 5. We turned
Good show. Yep.
into a pumpkin.
I have calls to make.
Well, I've
Yep.
got the Alpin on the Hunt at starts. The people start calling in at 5:30,
Okay.
so it's
We'll see. Okay.
it's a little tight.
We'll see you guys later
So-
then. Take care.
All right, tomorrow at 4:00 we'll have the Explore Line show. Annie is